First and foremost, I'm sorry, not Wendy's, Macy's. We're going to get to Wendy's shortly. Macy's is closing 150 stores and laying off the people. Check it out, man.
Call with investors. K2's Ali Rasmus is following this story kind of as it happens here, Ali.
Yeah, Gasset. In fact, that earnings call is still going on as we speak. They sent out a release about 2 hours ago, and then we just heard the CEO speaking about some of the changes to Macy's here in the last half hour when that earnings call started. We are waiting to find out which Macy's stores in the Bay Area may be on that closure list. We don't know that yet. There are about 20 Macy's department stores in the Bay Area. But Macy's is the largest department store chain in the nation. It owns not just 350 Macy's stores nationwide, but also it's the parent company of Bloomingdale's and the cosmetic store chain Bluemercury. Now, Macy's and Bloomingdale's sales during the 2023 holiday shopping season were...
I got to give my girl, sister, God, sister, why you keep doing this to me? I'm going to acknowledge this as soon as I get done with quick hits, y'all.
Down compared to the year before. A new CEO took over the company last year, and investors had threatened to take the company private if things didn't turn around.
We have identified approximately 150 Macy's stores for closure over the next 3 years. We call these our non-go-forward locations. In fiscal 2023, they represented about 25% of Macy's Inc.'s gross square footage, but less than 10% of its sales.
Again, we're waiting for that list of those 150 stores that are slated to close by the year 2026, including whether any Bay Area locations are on that closure list. But those Macy's stores' losses will be Bloomingdale's gains. The company's CEO says while they'll close 50 Macy's stores this year and another 100 by 2026, they plan to open 15 new Bloomingdale's stores nationwide in that period and 30 new Bluemercury stores. Again, that's a cosmetics company chain that Macy's bought about 10 years ago. It's a sign that the company wants to shift its focus towards higher-end luxury brands and the skincare cosmetics market. Macy's CEO says they're also going to be focusing on more small format stores, standalone stores that are in high-traffic neighborhoods, shopping centers, outlets, not traditional shopping malls.
You know what's so funny? Shout out to sister. I'm going to read that shortly, right after quick hits. You know what's so funny? I just remember probably less than a couple months ago, probably less than 3 months ago, Macy's said that they had gotten an offer from an outside source to possibly buy out all of their stores, and people said that it was crazy. I don't believe in retail. I don't believe in retail. I think that you have to have some combination of retail and e-commerce. And as a matter of fact, I think that e-commerce is probably the only way to go. And even e-commerce to a certain extent is being disrupted because you can go to Amazon and you can possibly get everything that you can. And it's not just Amazon, but it's these all-inclusive stores that kind of like a Macy's online, like an Amazon, and shop all retailers on that particular site. Or you can go to their individual website in order to do so. And I think that it's a combination of different things that's then prompting this. First, it's just normal shopper habits. The easier it gets for people to be able to do things. I don't even go to the grocery store no more. Like if I can't order it through Instacart and have it delivered directly, because I'm not about to go out and do any grocery shopping. If I showed y'all what my refrigerator looked like, it looked crazy over here. Matter of fact, here, let's just go ahead and do this. Why not? Let me show y'all what my refrigerator looked like real quick. I don't care nothing about this. Nothing in it. Could y'all see that accurate, Rita? Never mind. I don't even have nothing inside of my refrigerator. Nothing. I got some water. She got some Stella Rose in there or something like that. I order it as I need it. I DoorDash. I have looking for a private chef. And I understand that my situation is a little bit different. But one of the reasons that I live in the city is so that I can go out, live, work, and play. I ordered my hot chocolate. When I go out to the studio, I stop by certain stores and stuff like that. I ain't got nothing in my refrigerator. I don't need nothing in my refrigerator. You know what I'm saying? Because I don't want to stock my stuff. I want to actually live in real time. And depending on what my taste is, that's what I decide that I'm going to wind up, you know what I'm saying, utilizing as far as my lifestyle. And even when it comes to the stuff that I get on a regular basis, I'm just not going to the store like that. I go for the things that I want when I want it. And I think that all inclusive chains like a Macy's that's paying these high rents at these malls. I've been started shorting Macy's. I shorted they stock a little bit after the pandemic when it kind of exploded and people started looking at Macy's and treating Macy's similar to how they was treating GameStop. Places like that, GameStop, Macy's, they're gonna be dead. They're gonna be dead. And you can see the Bloomingdale's and you can say, well, the Bloomingdale's is gonna be, they're opening up 15 new stores. That's a temporary growth that I think is still going to be disrupted. I think long term, none of these places are really going to survive. They have to be supportive services in addition to the e-commerce versus just only depending on going into the store because shoppers' habits has changed, number one. And then number two, people been stealing. They've been stealing like crazy. And so that also affects, what you got going on a daily basis. In addition to Macy's, ladies and gentlemen, Wendy's is also testing dynamic pricing. This is wild. Y'all got to see this.
Choose wisely. Choose Wendy's new Pretzel Baconator.
The latest Baconator isn't the only new item hitting Wendy's menu. The fast food giant planning to test out dynamic pricing as early as 2025. It's a practice that charges different prices for the same items based on demand throughout the day. For example, a cheeseburger and fries could cost you more during the lunch rush than during a down period.
I would never expected a fast food restaurant to do that.
On a call with investors, Wendy's CEO Kirk Tanner says his company will invest $20 million on digital menu boards, allowing customers to see the updated prices.
Beginning as early as 2025, we will begin testing more enhanced features like dynamic pricing and day-part offerings, along with AI-enabled menu changes and suggestive selling.
Fast food restaurants already dealing with blowback on soaring prices from their customers as stories of $18 Big Macs and $7 Egg McMuffins at McDonald's went viral. Now adding dynamic pricing to the mix could potentially be damaging to the industry.
I don't think anyone's going to pay extra for the exact same thing that they were getting for less.
In fact, one survey finding 36% of consumers would order less often from restaurants adopting the practice.
They'll have to be really careful about not angering consumers who are already kind of inflation wary.
And that's actually what's made the industry very sort of hesitant to dive fully in. There are definite risks involved, and they really don't want to anger customers.
But these fluctuating prices are nothing new to inflation-fatigued consumers who are used to seeing surging prices on everything from airlines to concert tickets, like Taylor Swift's Eras Tour Ticketmaster drama.
Oh my gosh, we spent $899 per ticket.
So Wendy's is not rolling this out to every single store, but this is something that they test in certain stores in certain areas. In order to try to figure out how they can solve for all of these inflationary prices and the jumps in consumer goods, meaning the ability to be able to get stuff back and forth to the store, beef prices, all of that. But more importantly, also wages, right? They are raising wages across the United States of America. And so instead of them just trying to raise prices similar to how it is that they have to do it at McDonald's, what they're doing is they're testing out different concepts that they're sourcing from places like Uber and Lyft, which is like a surge pricing, which I don't think that this is going to work at all. Nowhere in the world you're going to sit here and tell me that people are going to be willing to pay more surge pricing for food when they just got another option right up the street. Why would I pay for that at Wendy's when you can right up the street and go to McDonald's and get it for whatever it is that you expect to get it for, right? So the dynamic pricing menu, I don't think that it's going to work. I also have seen, especially on social media, that Wendy's have been implementing AI on their ordering system, and it's been really, really good. That's something that I do think that they're going to roll out because they're going to start reducing the amount of employees that they have inside of the chains that then impact how much that they got to spend on passing prices over to the customers in order to stay open. So I think that restaurants in general is starting to go through a tumultuous period, if it's me, and I also had a lot of these conversations on Stock Club. So if y'all not a part of the Patreon, which we got Stock Club coming up on this Sunday, then you might as well tap into the Patreon. Link is in the description. But I think that there's going to be a lot of disruption in the restaurant industry, in the hospitality industry, in the food industry. And the people that figure it out is going to be the winners. But as long as you have places like California and Chicago, which we're going to get to today, Chicago passing bills that then cause consumers to be even more heavily taxed, any gains that y'all get as far as the raises at y'all job is going to be offset by the idea that inflation continues to reduce the value of your dollar. So, they are testing out these new concepts. So when you see them, don't say that you didn't expect to see it, because you did talk about it on the Millionaire Morning Show. But more importantly, it's funny because I was listening to Brandon Barnes, right? Actually, it was a couple different people. I think it was Rainbow Kid or something like that. I don't remember. But I seen what y'all said in the chat, and people was like, man, people just need to stay home and cook their food. Don't you know that that's a relatively newer concept once we got bigger refrigerators and freezers? People used to go out, and this is one of the ways that big box stores started to take over a lot of our neighborhoods. People used to go out and buy what they needed for that day. They would cook for that day. They would go to the bakery, they would go to the butcher, they would go. How cities are starting to be redeveloped and designed today is similar to how cities used to be a long time ago, in the early 40s and the 30s and the 50s and things like that. Before you had the Walmarts, before you had Kmart's, before you had all of these big box retailers and stuff like that. People used to go out, they would walk, they would embrace what's going on in their city, they would participate, they would dress up, and they would get what they needed for that day. Also, just because you're getting DoorDash, just because you're getting Instacart, just because you have things based off of convenience, does not mean that you're still not eating whatever it is that you're eating and you can do it from a healthy perspective. It doesn't mean that you got to eat fast food, but most of the places, especially inside of cities, that you get whatever it is that you get from, you're getting it from individual self-employed restaurants. They don't come from chain restaurants. They're not always coming from that. They're coming from places where people are opening up their cafes. The little sandwich that I got today, this morning, in a hot chocolate, actually came from a person that is local to the community, that's local to Detroit. And so I order from there. Sometimes I go into there, but I order from there specifically because I know them, right? And the convenience that I have for them to deliver it to me is just the price that I'm willing to pay based off of the time of not having to go out or being able to still be able to spend some time to develop this show for y'all today while still sipping on my hot chocolate so I can still patronize their business. So for me, I don't, somebody else said in the chat, they said, Anton, what did he say? He said, what would you do in an apocalypse or something when the store shelf's empty? Man, the same thing that I did in the pandemic. Go to the store and get some food and make it. I'm not worried about none of that stuff, bro. I genuinely am not. Most of the stuff that y'all buy be sitting in y'all freezer for a long time. Half of the stuff y'all don't even be eating anyway. So I get what I need for that day. I try to get out, and it incentivizes me to actually go out and participate in the city and stuff. I don't live under duress like a lot of other people. I actually admire a lot of the things that was happening in the 30s and the 40s and the 50s. I'm really starting to become obsessed with that lifestyle that they lived and their way of life. So it's a little bit different for me.